freaking first cut. Golly.
Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your round 2 recap for this week's United States Open. Joining me to break it all down, Greg DuCharme is here. Greg, hey, buddy.
We're halfway through. I can't believe it. It's been quite a test so far, Rick. You're seeing some great ball strikers migrate their way to the top of the leaderboard. At the same time, it's been very challenging, but very fair. But this has been, so far at the halfway point, this has been a great championship and very compelling to watch.
It has been maybe a little difficult to watch if you're there in person. The weather advisory says as follows: extreme heat today. Please take precautions and drink plenty of water. Yeah, those guys looked like they were a little warm out there on Friday.
Yeah, it's warm. But you know what? I think it's important to note a lot of these players grew up in climates and in areas where it's very warm. And you're playing, if you grow up in Florida, and you're playing golf in Florida in the summer, and it's very hot. Same is true in Texas. So from a player's standpoint, it's warm, and you got to stay hydrated, and it's difficult, and it's fatiguing, but they're also used to it. It's interesting that some of the guys near the top of the leaderboard are not from climates that are extremely hot, but they are, for the most part, used to it. And when you're in that competition mode, sometimes the heat can, if it's going well and you're locked in, it's awesome. It's just, you feel like an athlete when you're sweating like that.
Finally feeling like an athlete out there on the golf course. Well, let's jump into this because the guys that played in the afternoon yesterday got out early with the quick turnaround this morning. So let's start with the super group, the top 3 players in the world all together, and they're all through the cut line, but on various parts of the leaderboard. We'll start here, Greg, with Rory McIlroy. On a day that played about 2.8 strokes over par, Rory McIlroy's 72 did indeed pick up shots to the field. He made just a single birdie. That was on number 3, which was his 12th hole of the day. He then had 3 separate bogeys on the card, and while it wasn't the greatest round we've ever seen him put together, he drove it well. He picked up strokes everywhere, but with the flat stick, in which he gave back basically 2.5 to the field.
Which is really the story of this round. I mean, to play a round in the U.S. Open and make 3 bogeys is not a bad thing, right? It's hard to avoid bogeys. And in some cases, like what happened at number 9, you get a bad break and you plug it in the bunker and you're going to make a bogey. A bogey is actually a good score at that point. So the shot he hit into 11 wasn't very good. He pulled it. His iron play wasn't as sharp as it was yesterday. But all in all, this was a very well played round. And there were a lot of similarities between his round yesterday and today. The big problem is he couldn't get anything to fall. He couldn't make anything. And he gave himself plenty of looks in that 20-foot range. He gave himself some even closer looks. At number 11, he had 6 feet for par and missed. It just seemed like there was a lot of opportunity for momentum to get started in this round, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't gather it. The one highlight was that on 6, the 2-putt where he only hit 1 putt.
Yeah. So he, if I remember correct, so he hits the green. He's above the hole. It's a par 3. He putts it off the green, pulls out a wedge, or I don't know what he used, but chips it in from there for par.
Yes, it was not on 6. Was it 17? I think it was 17.
Let's see.
Yeah, it was 17. It was 17. Oh, yes. This is what I wanted to check out too. Did he get? Yeah, they gave him a 2-putt on 17.
See, that's wrong.
Yes. Right? So on the shot tracker that I use, it has all these stats, and you can look at them. It's great. It's just fantastic. So it has 2 putts. Putt distance of putt made is the column right next to it. Like you made a 6-footer. The putt you made, how long was it? There's nothing there, but it's 2 putts. That's just wrong. It was a 1 putt, and he didn't make a putt.
Right. Which I guess the way that they code that, they don't expect a lot. Like once you start putting, they they assume you're not going to stop putting.
Right, because you shouldn't. Normally, don't. So you're right, and that's a code. That's just simply a coding issue.
I hate to break it to Josh. So Josh asked us in the chat, what shot tracker is that, Greg? Like, are you going to give that one up? I think Greg and I have the same one. So
yeah, it's the it's ShotLink. It's a PGA Tour shot tracker.
It's the shot link. It's access to ShotLink. It's awesome. It's unbelievable.
It's so easy to use. A lot of the data is on the USGA site as well.
Yeah, they do a good job.
Yeah, it's very good. I'm just much more familiar with the shot tracker, so I'm glad it's on there too.
Yeah, sorry, Josh. Okay, maybe my favorite. I don't know if it's favorite's the right word, but I've really enjoyed Xander Schauffele's rounds this week. So yesterday, and we talked a lot about this, just miserable off the tee and grinds himself through what was an even par 70. I was very impressed by that. Okay. And he starts today by bogeying each of his first 2 holes. And maybe that's an opportunity for him to just punt this thing away. He grinds through it, birdies 13 and 14. He birdies 18. So he turns at 1 under and gets as deep as 3 under with birdies on 2 and 3. Now, Greg, it wouldn't be a turbulent Xander round without a double on the par 5 fifth. Add it all up, it's a 1 under 69. So he has gone 70, 69. He is 1 under. He is 4 shots off the lead. He's in a tie for 9th. And I think that's like the worst. Maybe it's, I don't know. I don't know how to frame this. I'm just impressed with how he's been able to get through these last 2 days, and he is very much in the mix.
Yeah, it's very U.S. Open, right? You're 4 shots back. You're right there, and this could have very easily gotten away from you. And at the same time, you could have been right there touching the lead. Both of those things were very much in play, which Xander's first 2 rounds highlights the difference between a missed cut and a win. It's like just a couple of shots. You got to just dig deep. The 1 on 5 was fascinating because he hit his tee shot 184 yards.
And they had such a good camera angle of it where the ball was kind of coming at you. And it just nicked the first tree. And in that split second, I thought, did that just hit the tree? And then it smacks the tree the next branch and drops straight down. And I'm like, yeah, it definitely did just hit that tree.
Yeah, it did. It did. Not good. I didn't see anybody else do that. So then he's got to lay up. Yeah. I mean, he had 390 yards in on his second shot. He lays it up to 200 yards and misses the green and ends up missing a 9-footer for bogey. So he makes double there, kind of made a mess of it. But this was the cool thing about Xander's round today. Yesterday, we were very positive on his ability to grind, and rightfully so. My concern going forward was, before the Memorial, I probably would have said, well, Xander's been hitting it as well as anybody in the world. So like right there with Scotty, that kind of, he's hitting it like the second best player in the world. And so it's likely that he hits it better tomorrow. But he did the same thing at the Memorial. He's hanging on with just short game and putting, but never really found his stride with his full swing. So I was kind of worried if he was struggling. And he comes out today and leads the field in strokes gained approach, right? He hit a lot of really high quality shots. And also, we haven't talked about Scotty yet, but Rory completely had a lid on the hole. Scotty completely had a lid on the hole. And Xander actually made some putts. It was not consistent. He didn't putt as well as he did in round 1, but he made some putts. So it feels like things are going in and heading the right way for Xander. This is a very encouraging round.
I agree with you. Josh, if you want to share my screen, we'll really rub this in here. I've got the shot tracker up. So this is Xander's shot, 184 yards into the left trees. And there were others in there.
Yeah, there were.
Brian Kim hit one 204. Andy Savota 223. There was one over here that actually Sam Bennett got it out to 273, but Xander's was the shortest of all of them, and just sat there in less than 190 yards.
It's so funny when you see that kind of thing. Just especially if you don't see the shot. Wait, what happened here? But you're right on that camera angle. It was fascinating.
It was sick. All right. The final man in that group is Scotty Scheffler here. And this has not been Scotty Scheffler's week. He has struggled. He has shown frustration that we have not seen. He, Greg, and dare I say this, he threw his putter.
Yeah.
He threw a club.
Scotty Scheffler threw a club on the putting green. Now, it was more of a club toss and flip, but he did not catch it, and it landed on the ground, which makes it a club throw. Well, the slammer can change you.
Yeah. I thought we sent people to jail for rehabilitation. Clearly, this guy is not ready to be back out in society.
Oh, man. It's so funny because I love the way Scotty handles himself. And in all seriousness, he swung the club way better today. I was asked on Twitter, and I just saw this. I haven't responded there yet, but is it harder for Scotty when he doesn't have it going to correct himself because of his footwork? And no, I don't think that's the case. I think he corrected his ball striking today. He's birdieless because of his putter. I mean, he hit 5 shots inside of 15 feet. He had good looks for birdie all day. He couldn't make a thing. He's 150th today in strokes gained putting.
Yeah.
He missed from everywhere. I mean, I'm looking at these, especially on his second 9, which was the front 9, right? He hits it to 12 feet at number 1, 8 feet at number 2, 10 feet at number 3, 6 feet at number 4. And on his first 9, he hit it to 7 feet at 14. Doesn't take advantage of either of the par 5s. He's birdieless. He doesn't make a single birdie. And he had plenty of really high quality looks. So this is obviously maddening. It's extremely frustrating for Scotty Scheffler. But round 2, there was a 67, 68, pretty easily with the way he hit the ball. He could have shot a couple under par pretty easily. And I may even be more aggressive than that. I'd say he could have, he made a double at number 5, right? Scotty Scheffler could have probably shot 67 today without this round looking a whole lot different.
Yeah. Number 5, which played just about even par, but it was one of the easiest holes on the golf course. He made a double there. He was 30th off the tee, 15th on approach, 113th around the green. And as Greg mentioned, 150th with the putter. So he coughed up basically 4 shots on and around the green. Now, he's going to be, Greg, he's 10 back. It's over, right?
Yeah, it's over. There's one advantage that he has is he'll have an early tee time in the morning. And if you were watching the coverage late today, the golf course did get very tough. I saw Siwoo Kim and Sung Jae Im hit beautiful shots into number 9.
They were perfect. Sung Jae had his putter out on the tee box. He thought it was like he was going to go tap it in.
A high cut right at the flag, barely covers the bunker, and it's 40 yards over the green, right? There's no stopping it. So could this golf course get to a place in the afternoon where it's mayhem for the leaders and Scotty goes out in the morning and the golf course is more receptive? shoots 65, gets back to even. It could get him in touch. But I think realistically, you're looking at the only avenue for a victory for Scottie Scheffler is 65. And I even for Scottie Scheffler, I think that's likely a stretch.
Yes, I think so as well. And I had something else I wanted to say about that. Those greens were getting yellow by the end of the day. It's getting
a lot more brown.
Yeah, it's getting,
and the run out areas too.
Yes.
Which have been very green. Starting to see a little brown.
All right, we are going to continue this conversation. We got a lot more guys to get to, but first we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners.
NWSL newcomers battle it out for the first time in league history. Sunday on CBS Sports Network. Keep your eyes on me.
And we're back, Greg. So a lot of the guys who played well and were at the top of the leaderboard went out this morning. That includes Bryson DeChambeau, who followed up his Thursday 67 with a Friday 69. This was a little bit of everything. He made 5 birdies. He had 4 bogeys on the card. If you look at the stat sheet, Greg, for round number 2, he was just about even off the tee. He was a big positive on approach. He putted well. He actually he praised his putting after the round. He said he was very proud of it. I thought he was a bit tentative early in the rounds, but then he did start to get that pace and start to get the flat stick rolling a little bit. He is going to enter the weekend 1 shot off the lead in pursuit of his 2nd U.S. Open title.
Yes. And boy, is he looking really, he's in a very good spot. We won't talk about who's above him on the leaderboard just yet, but I think Bryson's got to be feeling really good. The driver did not go his way today, but I think you still see the advantage of his distance. It's a huge advantage, and there's going to be some holes that he's able to take advantage of over this weekend that nobody else can. But the biggest advantage in his distance is being shown with the height he can hit the ball. And when he has this ability to launch it way up in the air and stop it on the green quicker than everybody else. And the battle that Bryson will have to face is, can I do that? Flush it straight up in the air, stop it as quick as I can, but in the middle of the green, and avoid some of these squares. Because the birdies are just going to come for Bryson DeChambeau, especially when he's putting like that. So the big question is, can you just keep the squares off the card, especially on par 5s? Right? He can't be playing the par 5s 1 over. But all in all, it's a 69. This kind of feels like the bad round. I'm very impressed with his chipping, which was a big area of concern. And the putting, which on greens that are this fast was an area of concern. And I think those 2 things have been kind of a strength. So his strategy is really starting to show through. And I could see a world where this is a Bryson runaway. It kind of has that feel right now. But we'll see what the weekend has in store for him.
Yeah, really impressive. Seriously, I mean, he's been great. He's very confident. The game's in phenomenal shape, and he's in a great spot on the leaderboard around a bunch of guys who haven't broken through for that first major yet. So we'll see. The round of the day goes to Hideki Matsuyama, and this was a 66, Greg, that was bogey free. He got through this. The highlight was the stretch of holes from 3, 4, and 5 where he birdied all of them. There were not a lot of birdie streaks. Actually, he might have the only birdie streak of the day. I'd have to go through and look, but he gets it done here. And now Hideki flies up the leaderboard. He's 2 under par for the tournament, which is 3 shots off the pace.
This is why pre-tournament we were all so high on him, especially Patrick. But we all loved Hideki heading into this week. And this round is exactly why. He has the ability to string together birdies like that. He has the ability to fire at flag sticks. He only hit 10 greens, but led the field in proximity to the hole in round 2. And that's the kind of thing that Hideki Matsuyama brings to the table. But what was so impressive about this round And really the supercharger for Hideki Matsuyama is what he does on the greens. He was third in strokes gained putting today. But he wasn't filling it up with crazy long putts. What he did is made his 8 to 10 footers. He poured those in. I mean, the number of putts that he made from outside of 6 feet today was like 9. Like, half of his round is spent kind of grinding in that 6 to 10 foot range where the round can completely turn around, or it can go the other way, right? You're on that tipping point, on that knife's edge, and he made them all. So that was what impressed me most today. The other stuff, the ball striking, the driving and iron play, and even the short game is stuff we know about. But when Hideki's making those knee knockers, he becomes a factor.
Yeah, he does. And he is vying for his second major championship. We'll see. There's a good mix of first timers or zero-time major champions who are some of the best players to not have majors, and then guys who have one or have 4 or something like that. So there's a good mix at the top of the board. Let's change the mix of the analysis here. Let's add Patrick McDonald to the conversation. Patrick, good day.
Looks like I came at a great time talking about the future 2024 U.S. Open winner, Hideki Matsuyama.
Did you get all your writing done?
No, there's still one more thing left on the docket. Might have to bomb out of here if that's needed. But everyone knows where I'm at, which is great. And man, round of the day from Hideki. Tastes sweet. Dinner's going to be good tonight.
Well, let's get you in here on the second best round of the day. That was Thomas Detry, 67, and there was at least one more birdie streak because Detry did it, 11, 12, and 13. He made 6 birdies out there, Patrick. He played well at the PGA Championship. Should we be taking this guy a lot more seriously?
Maybe we should, but then again, I've watched my fair share of DP World Tour, and Rick, you know better than anyone. Some of those finishes get really ugly.
If you think you've seen some bad beats and some meltdowns on the PGA Tour, you've seen nothing.
Nothing. And I'll be honest with you.
This
past week, I almost did bet Sebastian Soderberg, and I woke up Sunday thinking, thank goodness I did not do that.
Last week's was an all-timer.
The DP World Tour put out like tweets pretty much saying, how much is he going to win by? Is he going to break the record? And then just implosion. And Detry, he's always been a very good player, right? Coming out of Illinois, he's got the Mike Small connection there. Great head coach, one of the best at the college ranks, and the talent's always been there. I mean, he has a silky smooth golf swing. Great action, Thomas Detry has. But he has somehow not just run into a tournament win. It's happened on the DP World Tour. It happened kind of earlier this year at Torrey Pines, Saturday late, hitting that one into the water and kind of giving up his chances there. But the talent's always been there. It's just really the mental side, which he's been pretty open about. But today, the putter was just humming, gaining over 4 strokes. The putter's been in a really good spot ever since the Florida swing, it seems like. So maybe we are overlooking him. He hit 13 fairways as well, which is always a recipe for success at a U.S. Open. But, man, if you can't get it done on the DP World Tour, you can't get it done at some of these PGA Tour events. It's hard to look at this leaderboard and say, you know what, Thomas Detry is going to get it done this weekend of all times. I'd love to be proven wrong, but...
Well, you might be. It's 2 rounds away, but I tend to agree with you. Vegas tends to agree with you. There are a lot of other guys who have shorter odds for him to win this golf tournament. There's a lot of other guys with better pedigrees or seemingly more talented or better form. So, yes, it would be difficult for Detry to win this, yet he is they pay a lot for T2. They pay a lot for T3. It's still life-changing stuff. So Thomas Detry very much here in the mix. Gents, we're going to take it to the afternoon wave and get to some names like Ludvig and Patrick and Tony and Matthieu. You know, just the first name guys. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners.
Well, you need your sports news anywhere?
We've got breaking news to bring you.
Then get your sports anytime you want them. Big trade news overnight to discuss.
Because we know you need sports all the time.
A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
A legend adds to their legacy.
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
CBS Sports HQ, anywhere, anytime, all the time.
And we're back. How about that afternoon wave? How about that Patrick Cantlay, who opened up with a 65? And Greg, it's been well documented his struggles outside of the first round here in 2024. It was a 6-shot difference in the wrong direction, a 71, 1 over par for Patrick Cantlay, which had 3 birdies, 2 bogeys, and a double bogey. What did you take away from Patrick Cantlay's second round action?
Well, I thought he swung the club really quite nicely for most of the day. I think he hit a lot of really high quality iron shots. He looks to be in much better form with his game. I think it's also very clear that the new putter he has in play is working a whole lot better for him. And I think that's the most important thing. Like when Patrick Cantlay is playing well, the thing that really opens up his game is the putter. So kind of looking past just what he did in this round, I think what Patrick Cantlay brings to a U.S. Open should be some accuracy off the tee, which has been okay. It should be some very wise decisions and high quality shot making into the centers of greens, which he did a lot of today. And then the putter is what allows him to kind of run away. The problem is he made some mistakes around the greens in this round, especially number 8. And if he doesn't make double at number 8, which is his second to last hole of the day, this whole leaderboard looks very different. And this round looks a whole lot different. The difference between 69 and 71 for Patrick Cantlay is huge. But he goes long of 8 and then misses the green from long of 8 and then misses the green again. And I think it was a 1-putt double.
Mm-hmm. It was a great putt.
Yeah, he made like a 12-footer for double.
Yeah.
So look, that's he got Pinehursted in a way. Welcome to Pinehurst. But all in all, while that's disappointing, it's a disappointing finish. I think Patrick Cantlay played really well, and it's clear to me he's swinging a whole lot better.
Is Patrick Cantlay the best player in the world without a major?
In totality, I would say yes.
Has to be, right? Even if you just look at like PGA Tour wins versus and 0 major wins,
for how consistent he has been for the last half decade, and given his pedigree coming into the professional ranks as well, it's got to be him. It's got to be him, and then you can throw behind. I mean, Victor's still younger than him, obviously. You could throw Finau in there, I'm sure.
Yeah,
and probably a few guys I'm missing.
But he's got a FedEx Cup.
Yeah,
right. He's got he's won the Memorial. He's won some big time events and has been the top 10 player in the world for, the whole second part of his career ever since he got healthy.
Yeah.
Well, at this rate, Ludvig Aberg is never going to leave the top 10 of the official world golf rankings because he's unbelievable. And Patrick, this was a 1 under 69 from Ludvig to follow up his Thursday 66. The default word I've been using for the last year is clinical. He has now missed. Well, he finally missed a fairway today, which thank goodness he is human. But he said something after his rounds like, "Oh yeah, golf's a lot easier when you're playing out of the fairway." It's like, yeah, buddy, like especially around here. And he is just giving himself such an edge off the tee. It's awesome to watch.
I'm convinced he doesn't really realize that he's in a U.S. Open, like at the Masters when he was just chomping on food in between holes and everything, just having a happy-go-lucky time. On the 4th hole today, he chunks his approach. It's like one of the worst swings I've ever seen him make. And he hands the club to Joe Scavron. and they just start cracking up in the middle of the fairway. They're just laughing. And then what does he do? He pitches the ball to 10 feet, knocks in the par putt like nothing happened. I thought it's been unbelievable so far. It took until 4 p.m. Eastern Friday afternoon at the U.S. Open for Ludvig Aberg to miss a fairway, which is ridiculous. See ball, hit ball, play golf, and not think about much else.
Does he have a pulse, Greg? Like, he just does not even seem remotely rattled by anything.
No, it's a fascinating place because he's just so darn good. And it's clear that as the test gets more difficult, his skill sets they seem to shine. But, when I watch Ludvig Aberg, I don't put any pressure on him. If he has a complete meltdown over the weekend, it's his third major championship, right? It doesn't affect how good we think he is. So he's at this place where there's absolutely no pressure. But he doesn't feel, normally the player feels the pressure. I enjoy watching you, but I don't necessarily expect anything of you. The way Patrick Cantlay, we may expect something out of Patrick Cantlay. We may expect something out of Rory McIlroy. We don't expect anything out of Ludvig. He missed the cut at the PGA, and we didn't talk about it. It's a second major. It's okay. And he seems to almost have that attitude, but at the same time, he doesn't. He's playing like there's nothing to lose. But I know that he still cares very much. It's incredibly impressive to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in his third major championship, he is the solo leader heading into the weekend. He sets the pace at 5 under par. Everybody else is chasing. So zooming out just a bit, because we've talked about all of these guys, the trio at 4 under, one shot back is Bryson DeChambeau, Thomas Detry, and Patrick Cantlay. The 3 unders, Rory McIlroy, who we've discussed, and 2 others who we are going to discuss right now. Tony Finau, Greg, is one of them. 68 and 69 for Big Tony. He's doing it in a very similar fashion that Ludvig is doing it. So fairways hit, Ludvig is number 1. He's hit 26 out of 28. Finau is second. He's hit 25 out of 28. Greens in regulation, Ludvig is first, 30 out of 36. Finau is tied for second, 28 out of 36. So fairways and greens for these two.
Yes, very clearly the recipe, and a lot easier said than done, because you start getting outside the very centers of these greens and the ball just wants to find its way off of it. There are a lot of golf courses where there's a little backstop and the ball gets past the flag and then it starts getting better. It never seems like the ball is getting better at Pinehurst. It always seems like if it's on the ground, it's getting worse.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Right? Everything's going away.
Yeah.
Very challenging.
That's fun.
Tony has dotted the middle of greens. He's flushing it. And what has really impressed me when he has missed a green, his chipping with the wedges has been phenomenal. He had a terrible one on 18, which led to a disappointing bogey. Terrible, maybe strong. It was weak. He had it like 20 feet. But all in all, I mean, he's 6 of 8 in scrambling. He's 17th around the green. He's 6th approaching the green, 10th off the tee. This has been a very well-rounded performance. And he lost a little more than half a stroke on the greens in this round, but it's not a concern. He's not putting a whole lot of pressure on his putter. And I do think the putter looks a whole lot better. So I think if Tony Finau came into this with a game plan, what he's doing right now looks a whole lot like that game plan.
Yeah. He hasn't been punched in the face yet, right? Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face. He has not been punched in the face yet. Everything going just as expected for Tony. Now, the third man tied for 5th at 3 under par is Matthieu Pavon, Patrick. And this, for the vast majority of the day, was much better than 3 under. In fact, he was in the lead for a portion of the day because he started on the back 9 and immediately birdied 10 and 11. Unfortunately, he ended his day with consecutive bogeys to drop him off that 5 under number and put him to the 3 under number that he currently sits.
Yeah, I was getting a lot of love on Twitter for this one. A few tweets at me since I proclaimed him a top 5 player in the world at one point this year, because technically he was inside the top 5 of the FedEx Cup. At one point, he was, I believe, a top 2 player in the world going on those standings. So really easy to see, just right. The best players in the world tend to pop up at the biggest tournaments, but a lot of putting for him, hitting a lot of fairways. I think he only missed 1. I don't have the numbers in front of me. If I had to guess, this guy is leading the field in strokes gained putting as well. Seems like he's making everything. I thought for sure he was going to get up and down after launching it long of 8, but ultimately did not. And then, yeah, obviously the bogey on 9 isn't great either. So it's interesting. This is a guy, journeyman, not a ton of success early in his career, pretty much none until this past year, right? Went on the DP World Tour, birdied, what was it, like 3 out of his last 5 holes in Dubai to steal the PGA Tour card. 4 in a row.
Rasmus Højgaard's spot, right?
Oh, yeah. He's not invited to the Højgaard Thanksgiving. That is for sure. He steals the spot from Rasmus, steals the trophy from Nikolai at the Farmers. And I don't think we can underestimate the grit factor in a U.S. Open. And I'm willing to say, even though he is French, Matthieu Pavon has a lot of grit. He's got a lot of grit.
I'm not sure what, even though he's French, what that part means.
Yes, Patrick, are the French not known for their grit?
No, you guys, I don't like the French just because I was pickpocketed in Paris. I've told this story before.
Yeah, you've told that story. It sounds like your fault.
No, it's my fault that someone else committed a crime.
Yeah.
Oh,
you got to you got to have your head on a swivel. Why weren't you wearing your breast?
They were children, Rick. They were asking me to sign a petition to save a river. Of course, yeah. Come here. I will sign anything you need.
No, I hate rivers.
I hate children and I hate rivers.
Shame. I guess you're right. Shame on me. I should have known. Yeah. I was 22 at the time.
Next time, Patrick. Cargo pants. Cargo pants.
I am in that phase now. But that being said, despite my differences with the French, I think honestly, Pavon, there are 2 guys on this leaderboard who everyone in the world's like, okay, they're going to go away. It's Thomas Detry and it's Matthieu Pavon. Let's be real. Let's call a couple spades. I think Pavon could be frisky. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. He just has kind of like old man strength, right? Journeyman, house money.
It plays the right shot shape too, right?
Yeah.
He's fading everything. It's very clean. It's very much in front of him. It's never like out of reach from him. And he's also, like you said, Patrick, he's doing a lot on the greens. He's kind of used to that. So
yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world.
No, because everybody's going to have to lean on their putter at some point, and he's ready for it.
I love scrolling through like the total birdies stats at U.S. Opens. So Thomas Detry's made 10 birdies this week. That's tops in the field. Handful of guys have made 9. Russell Henley, top 10 player in the world. Patrick Cantlay, Bryson DeChambeau, Xander Schauffele, Ludvig Aberg. Scotty Scheffler's only made 2 birdies this week. There are 4 golfers who are birdieless, who have not made a birdie this week.
And that made the cut.
Oh, I don't think they made the cut.
Oh, I was like, that is impressive. I will say top 10 player in the world, Russell Henley. Will Gray put this one out. 3 over on par 3s, 4 over on par 5s. He's 7 under on the par 4s.
That's.
Oh my gosh, man! Like imagine. Oh,
I think, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong here. I think the fewest number of birdies for a guy who's made the cut. I'm doing this off my brain. Cam Smith's made 2, and he.
So is Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Damn, Cam Smith.
Cam Smith's he's in 37. and he's made 2 birdies.
That is like the last guy I would have guessed.
Yeah.
It's like, that guy, he definitely made like 16 bogeys and 20 birdies or something.
The 4 who did not make a birdie all week: Jim Herman, Otto Black, and then the most surprising is Ben On. Ben On made 0 birdies this week.
Wow.
One of the most surprising.
One of the most surprising. The last one is Phil Mickelson, who made 0 birdies this week.
He's birdieless.
Birdies.
Terrible.
Hate to see it.
That's a bummer. That is a bummer.
I'm going to ask each of you the same question, and I'm going to read you the notables who missed the cut. And we'll start with you, Greg. Which of these golfers surprises you the most, or really just you want to talk about? So here are the notables who will not be around for the weekend: Victor Hovland, Max Homa, Justin Rose, Tiger Woods, Jason Day, Will Zalatoris, Dustin Johnson, Sung Jae Im, Justin Thomas.
Yeah. Look, in all honesty, when it comes to a U.S. Open, missing the cut is rarely surprising. Yeah. It is such a fine line between good and bad. So it's hard for me to say that one of them is truly surprising. Had Scotty Scheffler missed the cut, I would have been surprised. Yeah. But I think the guy to talk about is really Justin Thomas. Because I don't think his game was in this bad of a place. And to go out and shoot 77, 74 to finish 154th. I mean, he hit 13 greens. Thomas Detry made 10 birdies through 2 rounds. He hit 13 greens in regulation. Justin Thomas, he's been a top 2 iron player in the world for a majority of his career, and he can't do anything. There's another putter change, gone away from some coaches. And while some things have felt a whole lot better, this feels just downright terrible.
He was also the worst Justin in the field. He got beat by both Lauer and Rose, which not even top Justin honors. I'm not even sure he was top JT. That goes to Poston.
There should be the nationality bets, first name, Cameron, Justin. This would be great.
The Cameron market would be a difficult one.
Yeah.
Patrick, which one of those names surprises you the most?
Top of my head, it would be Alex Noren, because he ruined the perfect grid. First off, Tim Wieding and Ludvig Aberg, tough customers to go against this week.
Dude, yeah.
Bad look for Patty.
First and ninth. Okay, so this must have turned because there was a moment yesterday where Noren was under par.
He was 1 under.
And he had a short birdie look somewhere.
He really tripped up coming in.
And he whiffed it, and he was not the same after that.
Yeah, I think the pressure got to him.
If he rolls that in, it's a completely different story.
Yeah, I will say Alex Myers of Golf Digest, who's been having a week with the hole-in-one, being on Sports Center and all this.
Yeah.
I had never seen it before, but he called him Dustbin Johnson on Twitter. And I let out an audible laugh. I'd never heard of it. I thought it was hilarious.
74-75 for DJ, 9 over par.
Yeah, he's just I've heard he's not practicing a ton. Shipnuck put out there, Shipnuck's tweeting again. He unblocked me so I can see his tweets. That the routine has really gotten to him. He's a creature of habit. And he's not quite in his habit on Live Golf when it comes to major prep, even though he played well at the U.S. Open last year. If I had to say who I'm disappointed in, I would probably say Max Homa, to tell you the truth, because he had a good opening first round, right? Victor, I thought was very admirable to battle back and almost make the cut like that. Homa, he just made some dumb decisions out there. He took a fairway wood from the Wiregrass on the par 5 fifth.
Oh, awful.
What was he doing?
I was like, as soon as he did that, I just thought there's no way this ends well. And of course it does.
It's like we're panning to him because he's about to hit a bad shot.
Yeah.
And so I'm disappointed at him. I know he's been struggling with the driver and he's been working at it really hard with Blackburn on the ranges at these events. They are grinding like crazy pre-tournament trying to fix it. And the driver's just not in a great spot. But yeah, I'm disappointed in Max Homa because I think he made a nice move up in his major career with a top 10 at the Open and the run at the Masters, where I think I'm allowed to be upset with him missing a cut in a major now.
Yeah, he's been kind of teetering on that line of like what his expectations are and all that stuff. So yeah, it's only a compliment when we say you should have been making cuts at
yes, major. It's a backhanded compliment for him.
Yeah.
Just,
I mean, this is what I would have done. It's so stupid.
Did you guys talk about the 5th hole from the Marquee group?
Where they just were all greenside and just like Xander left it at his feet. Scotty left.
I can't believe all 3 of them went there.
I know.
All 3. The 3 best players in the world. That's
well, Rory
big
makes par, right?
Yeah.
Rory makes par, and he walked off that green like he got away with stealing cookies from the cookie jar. Like
he never would have done what he did.
Yeah.
Right.
So my buddies played Pinehurst No. 2 in February, and some of them are very bad at golf. Very, very bad at golf. And so one of our friends who probably shoots like 125 straight
on a regular course?
On a regular course played. And his 3rd shot was down there. And like the group chat's just blowing up watching it. They go, Seth went down there in 3 shots. He escaped with a 10, but was 7 years older.
So the USGA has a championship handicap calculator. I don't know if you guys have seen that this week. So they released, what your target score would be at any of the USGA championships, and it's supposed to be under championship conditions. So they put in so you put in your handicap or whatever, and you say, what championship do I want? They have my target score as 85 at Pinehurst. I would not break 120 at Pinehurst.
Rick, 85.
What are they? That does not. There's no chance in the world.
I don't think that you've ever putted on greens that are rolling at a 13.5.
No chance.
13.5. It's largely unplayable. Like most courses, that kind of speed is unplayable.
I liked your point about if your ball's every time your ball's on the ground, it's getting worse.
Yes,
it is so true. It is literally so true.
Most of the time, you see there's banks you can use, and you play away and get it close. You can feed it. There's no feeding it. Pinehurst.
It was like Finau hit an approach when Bryson was on the call, and it came back a little bit. And the announcers were like, "This is the one hole at Pinehurst where you might be able to use that backstop a little bit." It came back maybe an inch.
Was that on 9?
No, it was one of the par 4s up the hill. It was the tucked pin left. Tiger missed the birdie putt late.
I remember it. I just don't remember what hole.
Yeah. Finau, I mean, he's playing great, but even on the par 5 fifth, he went left and deep of that low area. He was on the next hole, got up and down. Got up.
I actually think that's the right way to do it. Like I would play it so 60 yards left, so you have like a full shot coming in. Like I just could not.
So you could spin it a little bit.
Yeah, like 15 yards is way worse than 50. Me there.
You would just have to get a shot, Rick. That's like a 3-wood or a hybrid that you just practice for like 3 days and just get the feel. And your goal is on the green. And then if you really got the touchdown, you're not trying to make birdies. You're not trying to like get up and down. If you miss a green, you make a bogey. That's fine. but it's so hard.
Would you
'Cause there's-
go strictly putter, you think? Do you have the hands?
No, I would putt everything. No, I would putt everything.
I saw so many people putt from off the green to on the green than off the green today. Like more than ever, it seemed like. Morikawa, Koepka, that triple bogey.
Well, the other thing is it just doesn't, you think when you're watching, well, just get it up there. But the other side is brutal. And like, was it the par 3 15th, I believe, where if you came up short, you were going to have 15 feet for par from the other side. Rory had 10 feet. He barely got it up on top of the hill, had 10 feet for par. Scotty went long, 15 feet over.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody could get it close. You cannot get it close from there.
That
It's
pin
like
rocked.
Oh, it was so hard.
That Finau shot in there late too.
And he missed the putt.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh,
I don't know how Finau did that. Ludvig almost hit the same shot. Comes up short, makes bogey. No, Ludvig made the putt.
Ludvig made the putt.
That's where he kind of gave a look
like I'm not human.
Yeah, that was cool.
I think my heart just beat. Do we want to talk about who we're most disappointed in who made the cut?
Oh, you mean like
people were out of it?
Give me an example.
I'm not saying Scotty's out of it, but there's other guys at 5, like Koepka today.
Yeah, Koepka shot a 75 and was playing.
He was even par through 10.
Yeah.
Played his last 8 holes 5 over. Colin Morikawa. Disgusting round today. Horrible. Jordan Spieth. Dude, Spieth, tee to green today. I was watching that group because I was invested in Hideki, obviously. Oh my goodness. I've never seen him hit his irons this good in 2024. And then even with the wrist injury, which I've been hearing is really, really bad, obviously, he slammed one club so hard in frustration into the ground. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, why the hell are you doing this with that wrist?
Because I'm not probably because he's going to get surgery on it soon.
Yeah, that is fair. That is a fair
Patrick, on the Hideki thing, because how are you feeling about Hideki versus Bryson? Genuinely, I'm not trying to.
No, genuinely. So he was 1 under through 11, having hit 4 greens in regulation. The iron play was concerning early. He missed a lot left, and it seemed they were kind of on it in the feature group broadcast where every time he tried to squeeze a little bit more out of a club, he'd short side himself left. Like it was like a routine. Like every time it's like, oh, he's really got to step on this one left. And so hopefully that birdie run late, hit some really nice approach shots late. Hopefully he found something. But if he didn't, I'll admit it. I am concerned. I like where Bryson is much better.
Because, well, it's always funny when you get the guy, like you take the risk and you get the Hideki as your one and done play. And he's right there. And then you're kind of like, I don't like,
yeah,
I'm here. I'm right where I wanted to be, but I don't like it anymore.
Yeah. Like that was a lot of smoke and mirrors today.
Yeah. But look, he's got that short game.
Couple other things. Sepp Straka got rejected by a pin, hit the pin on his approach, flies off the green. He ends up making triple. Also made an ace, which is kind of sick. And then Francesco Molinari playing the 9th hole, last hole of the day, 2 shots off the cut line, makes an ace to make the cut. That's unbelievable.
Insane.
Unreal.
He did the reverse. Faxon was on the call. And I don't know if it was one of those situations where it was live. It was maybe one of those things they pan to, but he goes, oh, or like unless he makes, or Faxon was like, yep, he's going home this weekend. And then Sands was like, or Chirico was like, unless he makes a hole in one. And then he made a hole in one.
That might have been live because they were saying a lot of that. They were doing that with Tiger a lot, where it's basically like, okay, he's gonna have to hole this out and birdie his next one or whatever.
Yeah.
So I would not be super surprised if that
there's still a chance. He's got to go 7 under in his last 2 holes. I think he's got this.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see the betting odds, Josh. Oh, his third major championship ever. He's the favorite going into the weekend. Ludvig is plus 330. Bryson DeChambeau was 7.5 to 1 last night. Now 4 to 1. Rory McIlroy is gonna have basically 24 hours between tee times. Hopefully, got rested up, got ready to rock and roll. 4.5 to 1. Patrick Cantlay 9, Xander 12. Finau, Detry, Matsuyama, Pavon at 14, 16, 16, and 45 respectively.
Wow.
So Patrick, if you want
disrespect,
if you want the grit, you can get it at 45 to 1. What's Scotty? 60.
No way. He's only 60 to 1.
I know he should be like 600 to 1.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna find somebody else at five over. Okay, so like, what is Tommy Fleetwood and Cam Young?
Not listed.
Fleetwood is 1,000 to 1 at the same odds that Scotty is 60 to 1. Cam Young is 2,000 to 1 at the same odds at the same score that Scotty Scheffler is. Lowry is 1,500 to 1. Yeah, you get the point.
How do they decide? Like, why is Fleetwood 1,000 different? Like double Cam Young. It's double.
I don't know.
A bip.
Because who cares at that point, right? Scotty's at 60, 10 back.
That's actually the most ridiculous stat of this US Open, I think. Matthieu Pavon's 45 to 1 on the first page of the leaderboard. 2 back, and Scotty Scheffler is 11 back. No, 10 back. And he's only 60 to 1.
That's right.
Okay, let's do a little game within the game. Who finishes higher on this leaderboard? Matthieu Pavon or Scotty Scheffler?
Oh crap.
I hate that game.
Pavon. I mean, it's 8 shots over 2 rounds. He's going to beat him by 4 each round.
I like where Pavon is.
Yeah, but he's got the grit.
Let's play the other game. How far back is too far back?
Even par.
Evens are live or evens are out?
Evens are in. The 1 over crowd, it's lacking. Except for Frankie Sapp in the 3rd.
And Sam Bennett.
Sam Bennett. He looks like he's going on a fishing trip right after he finished up 18.
There are actually multiple PGA Tour winners in the +1 group, and we named Frankie Sappin and Sam Bennett as the 2 threats to come out of that group. The evens are Billy Horschel, Sam Burns, Steven Yeager, Sergio Garcia, and Russ Buss Henley.
Yeah,
that's why the evens are.
They're live.
Yeah.
So the
Burns
1 overs are out.
1 overs are out. Burns 5 over in his first 6 holes of this championship.
Yeah. So he was like number 1 off the tee and putting today.
I saw that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a crazy stat line.
That's what he did when he first came out on tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that he led, but that they're the strengths. I guess they're playing out strong.
Dude, what about Zach Blair, man? Let's go. 1 under.
Awesome. There's always good stories at Pinehurst.
If I had to bet this tonight, I would re-up my bet from last night on Bryson.
Yeah, I think that's the right thing to do. I was going to say, hopefully you took Rick's advice last night and got in on Bryson when you could. He looks really good.
Just feels like a Bryson week.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Whoops.
Let's go score by score and who everyone would pick. From the evens, Billy Ho, Burns, Jaeger, Garcia, or Henley.
Burns.
Henley.
Yeah, it's definitely Henley. Good call, Greg. Okay, one unders. Zach Blair, Corey Connors, Tim Vieding, Akshay, how you doing? Xander, Hatton, global superstar Tom Kim.
It's Xander, but Xander and Hatton would be able to.
Yeah, Xander found something today.
Xander
outside
found
that par
something.
5.
I'll tell you what, man. He's had his D- stuff, and he's 1 under.
Yeah. Xander at 12. Not a bad one on that. Back to that betting board. Not looking bad.
Okay.
All right,
And then at 2 under, it is Hideki Matsuyama. Who's everyone taking?
I'll take Hideki.
I'm gonna stick with my Hideki pick, although Bryson,
Smart.
I think Bryson's going to win this U.S. Open.
The 3 unders are Pavon, Finau, Rory. I mean, come on.
Pavon.
Obviously.
Yeah, that French grit.
The fours are kind of interesting. It's Bryson, Detry, Cantlay. I mean, I just have zero trust that Cantlay wins this golf tournament.
God, but it would be almost 2 on par to win the one right after Xander Schauffele.
I know.
We doing
That
this?
would be ridiculous. It's like,
I'll do it if you do it.
wait. We could have won major championships this whole time.
They will. if Cantlay won on Sunday, he'll live by Monday.
Is Greg frozen for you, Rick?
Yes, we can hear Greg.
He's so happy in that frozen shot.
Hey, he looks great. He looks excited. And now he's a robot. So we might be. All right, drop him.
That means Ludwig's gonna win.
All right, we are. It's a perfect time anyway. Wait until the last minute. All right, we will be back Saturday and Sunday night to get you a winner. Break it all down for the U.S. Open. Big thanks, producer Josh, does all the hard work behind the scenes. Greg DuCharme, who is gone, is available on Twitter at @TheRealGFD. Patrick McDonald at PMcDonaldCBS, and you can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The First Cut. We'll catch you next time.